Welcome to Hot Button Hashtags. My name is Matt. Roughly 2 weeks ago, something amazing happened. Netflix released a new series called Stranger Things, and it is incredible. It's so much fun. It's sort of a throwback to the old 80s Spielberg, Stephen King, Goonies, E.T., Stand By Me stuff that we all grew up with and we all love. I'm not going to tell you about the whole show because I don't have time. I'm not really interested in doing that. If you want to know about it, go watch Tuesday's video. Adam did a great job explaining what you should already know because you should have already watched the whole thing 10 times. It is a fantastic show. I love it. It's wonderful. It's great. But as good as it is, here's just a few things that I found to complain about because that's what I do. I'm very, very good at finding things to complain about. The show centers around these friends they're about 12 years old and they are not the cool kids. They're like the uber dorks. They're not just like geeky and not athletic. These are kids who read Carl Sagan and they play hardcore D&D for 10 hours on a Saturday in somebody's basement. They will never, ever kiss a girl. 1983, you're a nerd. What is the one thing that you should be obsessed with? Return of the Jedi. I was really surprised at how few Star Wars references there were. There were a couple of mentions of Yoda, and there is a scene with the Millennium Falcon floating, hovering. Their entire conversation, everything should have been revolving around Star Wars. But whatever. I mean, that's just me. It was Jedi. Kind of the weak sauce of the original trilogy. Speaking of Star Wars, and this is on topic, the very beginning of episode 1, when the ship comes in and it lands and there's the pilot and the co-pilot and then the two Jedi and they blah 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 and the Jedi leave. The pilot and the co-pilot, they stay on the ship. Guns drop out of the ceiling and they shoot the ship and they blow up the ship, and that's the first indicator that the Jedi have that something is not okay. Nobody ever mentions the pilot or the co-pilot ever again. Their death served a purpose as a warning to Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan that business is about ready to go down and they need to get serious and get your swords out and be ready to cut some people. There's no memorial for the dead. It's just they're basically, they serve their purpose and now we can move on. I don't feel good about that. I feel very bad. There are a lot of other things in episode 1 to feel bad about, but that in particular says a lot about us as a society, right? Okay, so in Stranger Things, Will Byers, he disappears, and everyone is concerned. The whole town, all of Hawkins, Indiana, they're looking for him. They're talking about him. They're praying for him. They're holding vigils for him. They all meet on the football field, and it's a big thing. The whole town is obsessed, but nobody talks about Benny, and nobody is really concerned with the scientist guy who gets killed at the very, very beginning. Shepard, he was one of the scientists. He's one of the guys who went in and he never came back out. There were a couple of guys who went hunting and they went missing. And most disturbingly, Barb went missing. Barb is Nancy's goofy friend who the internet is suddenly in love with because we're all Barb in her puffy coat and her corduroys. Everyone thinks Barb just went off, got on a bus and ran away. Except for Nancy. Nancy knows Barb would never do that. She believes and has reason to believe that Barb is in the same place that Will Byers is. She was taken by some creature, some faceless man beast, into this other world, which the dorky friends who aren't talking about Star Wars enough, they call the Upside Down, but I propose from here on out we refer to as Subarbia. Nancy believes Barb is disappeared. Sheriff Hopper, he believes that Barb is in no fine state. But nobody really explores that. Everyone is focused on Will. When it becomes evident that Barb did not make it out alive, nobody said, okay, well, should we try to bring her body back? Should we have a memorial service for her? No. We got Will back. We're just going to not press our luck and we're just going to be happy with what we got. Barb was weird anyway. Do you see the collar on that shirt? It was all frills. But the most disturbing thing, I'm going to talk about Nancy. Nancy is probably the worst character in the entire series. She doesn't grow like any good character should. She actually devolves. She gets worse as the series goes on. She starts out as a model student. Okay, she studies hard. She has like note cards and she's quizzing herself on, I don't even know, sciencey something stuff. She's a good kid. She, pink pillows on the bed and she dresses nice and her hair's got the little butterfly clips in it. It's all nice and everything. She's just a good kid. But almost like immediately, she's like shotgunning beers. She's using her friend Barb to, hey, just give me a ride. I don't want to go to this party alone. It's not even a party. It's her boyfriend's house and his two best friends who are weird and awful people who, whatever, they're going to end up in a trailer cooking meth. Who cares? She goes after this boy who looks suspiciously like Jean-Ralphio from Parks and Recreation. Makes out with him all the time. She's just drinking beers. She's just awful. She ignores her friend Barb because, hey, you were my ride here and now you're done. You're useless to me. She is disrespectful to her parents. She is rude to her brother. She's mean. She's awful. And then here's the thing: the one person who is interested in helping not only find missing Will Byers but also her friend Barb, Jonathan, he obviously likes Nancy. He thinks she's a person of character, someone who is worth his time. Nancy's boyfriend does not like this guy, Jonathan. He feels threatened by him, rightfully so, because Jonathan is clearly the cooler, more mature individual. Nancy so friend zones this guy, it's insane. She gets him to, get a gun, and they buy bear traps and they buy all this stuff to catch this faceless man beast. They go into the woods to find him, and by the way, did you see the part where she was swinging the bat? Who swings a bat like that? She's a horrible person. She progresses to worse and worse decisions and choices, and she lies. She lies to every single person she encounters. It's nuts. And then, to thank Jonathan for all of his help, she helps him set his house on fire, which, at no point did that seem like a good idea. Stranger Things is so friggin' good, and you need to watch it. I'm hoping you actually already have watched it, because this whole thing was spoilers. I gotta start saying that at the beginning of these videos.